Hey everybody. You know something? We have a lot of decisions to make as a society to pull through everything that we encounter on a daily basis. It's like, it's almost such a daunting task. I can see why people get really upset about it. And I can see why there's so much, I don't know, excuse you, so much aggression, why there's so much intolerance, so much hatred. I understand those things. But are we ever going to grow out of it as a species? And I ask myself that every day. When I see things and I think about all the things that I've learned as a human, all the things that have helped me in my little bubble, you know, and how much work it's taken. It's not something, it's something, yeah, you can work on yourself every day, all day. Sure, you know, you can have, a positive outlook on life no matter what, but we're forced into this paradigm, this society. We're not forced to take it. We don't have to. We don't have to accept it. But we do have to live in it. So no matter how much somebody talks about trying to get off the grid, or to try to be self-sufficient, or to grow their own food, the fact is most people have to be supplemented by the system. And we can pick and choose how we want to do that, how we want to embrace that facet. We can have organic foods on our plate, or we can choose to eat genetically modified food, or we can choose to eat garbage, chocolate, sugar, cupcakes. I just got done eating a caramello bar. It's like, the things we do to ourselves. So we get angry about all the bad things that are out there, all the things that can harm us. But we choose the things that harm us. We make those choices. Almost always. Now it can be disputed because there are folks who would say, well, what about weather modification? What about vaccines, which also are optional to an extent? But what about, all the things that are inflicted upon us that could be harmful? And it makes me really realize that in my life, I have the option to do the right thing, but I still make bad choices. And not everyone has those options. Folks who live in the ghetto, folks who live with no place nearby to obtain good quality foods. That can be rough, and a lot of folks don't have a choice. But I'm speaking to folks like you and me, who actually have a choice, who can make a decision to do the right thing all the time. And my question is, why do we make the wrong decisions? Why do we harm ourselves? And that's this whole dualistic kind of approach a lot of people have, that we make these choices because, there's evil, or we make these choices because we have a different side, a dark side. A lot of folks think that humans are evil by nature. I've been reading a lot about Confucius lately, and Buddhist philosophy, and how it tied in, and how Buddhism replaced Confucianism. And a lot of folks, you think of Buddhism, you think, okay, Buddhism is Buddhism, but it wasn't. Buddhism was taken, I can't remember the guy's names, Dao Chi and Ding Dao or something, no offense, I really, it was something like that, I don't remember their names, but there was an argument and disputes among cultures for centuries about the right way to behave, the right way to reach enlightenment, the right way to live your life. And even in something that seems as organized and as down to earth as Buddhism, there were violent protests over how to properly implement the ideas. One guy would think that you have to go through suffering to obtain the enlightenment. Another person says, no, this life is suffering. You should embrace the beauty and the joys of life. But one that really got to me was the idea that there was one group of people who believed at one time under a certain leadership they had to make a decision between two of these choices. One of them said that that humans are, let me think how to put this. Well, I don't really know how to put it into words. It's one of those fucking Zen things. They did it much better than I ever could. It's based on, I guess, the idea that through education, one could reach the ultimate enlightenment. That through learning as much as a person could, that's what enlightenment was. It was constant education and research that brought joy to a person. And then using that in life. The practice that they chose instead of that was one that said that education is opposing to enlightenment. That a person needs to unlearn everything, and that research approaches to life to try to find things out is kind of counterintuitive and goes against the grain of what it means to be alive. And I thought, wow, that really resonates with today's society. Basically it's saying, philosophy is is a negative aspect, that thinking too much can cause you problems. And so there are two different ways of thinking right now. There's one group of people that says that we need to know as much as possible, and that's the group that I'm in. The people that say you need to be aware. And even within that group, there are divisions. There's ones that say you need to take hardcore action, others that are too passive. There are groups that think that being aware means that you know all the bad things that are happening from the government, but they have no idea what it means to be awake or aware within yourself. And then there's folks who are completely aware within themselves but are oblivious to what's going on in the world. And there's a happy medium somewhere where a person can say, okay, I understand the big picture, I understand my local community, my state community, my nation, my world, and I understand, most importantly, myself. And still there are other groups that say learning too much about yourself is counterintuitive. You're thinking too hard. You just got to accept things for what they are. Pick a side. I've had so many people say to pick a side. You have to pick a religion, as if it's just, hey, a football team. That's not what life is to me. And I think that most people know that intuitively in their own hearts, that knowledge is power, but power is not power over people. Power is the power yourself to share what you know and pass it on to the next lineage so they cannot make the same poor choices that we did. It's like I was talking to my kid the other day. He's 18, and I was saying, hey, be smart. If you're going to go out and do crazy things in life, research the things you're going to do before you do them. You have the internet. You can just look on your phone and see, hey, this is safe, this is dangerous, if I was going to try this, these are the side effects, or if I want to go to this is a place to watch out for rattlesnakes. Anything. The information's at your fingertips. When I was a kid, we might be able to grab an encyclopedia. All the way back to ancient times, they were reading books that had so much crazy folklore, they didn't know what to believe. So my point being that now, in today's modern society, we have the ability to find out anything we need, and we choose to close our eyes to a lot of it. But we have to do it. We have to do it. And we have to take the right approach to it, to realize that it's not bad to know. It's not bad to act. But when you do act, make the choice to act in the best interest of everyone. If what someone's doing harms you, it's not right. If what you're doing harms anyone, it's not right. There is a way to live in harmony with the environment and with each other. And if we learn how to do this, then we can teach it to the next generation. I don't blame my parents or their parents for not knowing these things. It was the American dream. The 1950s. Hey, it was a beautiful time to be alive in America. The war was over, we'd already blown up the Japs, we had all these great houses, the money was flowing, television had been created, everybody had radios, everybody was driving cars, the freeways were being built. Meanwhile, this entire time the world was being fucking raped and pillaged by major industrial corporations like DuPont and Dow, and the people had no clue. But now we do. So now we can take action. We can fucking do something about it, people. And no, it doesn't mean you go out and go crazy or have violent protests or, but we take action as individuals. We speak out. We talk about it to people. We make people aware. It's going to make people uncomfortable. Yeah, it is. And that's cool. That's what it has to be done. Because the only reason people don't speak their true feelings in a group is because they're afraid of being ridiculed. But the truth is, that's the fear of those people. It shouldn't be your fear. You should feel vindicated. You should feel like you've done right. If everyone's blaming a certain person for something and you know that's not right, you speak up. If everyone's talking about politics and they say something, you say, oh, well, you don't talk about politics at work, speak up. Act and be active. Be active in your surroundings on every subject. You don't have to just pin yourself down to one cause. You don't have to find a niche within the world of protests or the world of causes or environmentalism. Just take an approach to everything. Go feel out everything. And that's my value. That's my only advice to how I think life should be lived. The only way that I think, the number one thing that I think that humans are designed to do, if we were designed, and we were indeed intelligently designed or designed otherwise, our purpose should be to fulfill the species, just like other animals do, just like plants do. Animals don't fight for no reason. Animals don't battle over territory unless it becomes an issue. And it usually doesn't become an issue. They fight in the spring for mates, and that's important. Hey, we have to have the best of the best, right? It's not about ugly or beautiful. It's not about handicapped or capable. It's about the species perpetuating itself through the best way it knows how. And along the way, we've lost this and we've become complete fucking pussies. Pardon my French, but it's true. We've become pussies. Even the most hardcore people have become pussies. They'll talk a lot of shit, but when they get right out there and get face to face with people, they don't know how to handle themselves. And that's the thing. You can know everything you want to know about life, but if you can't handle yourself and you can't talk to people, then you're just going to come across as an asshole. And there are a lot of those people out there that have a really good message to say, but they're just total assholes. And it's sad, but that's what comes with education. That's why I believe that that's so important. So each person has to do it their own way, but no person should tell another person that what they know is wrong or what they know is not right, in the sense that it's not right for mankind, unless you can see blatantly that it harms people. And that's a pretty simple thing to approach. I mean, a lot of people have solutions, but the solutions come at the cost of others, and that's not going to work. So what do? Too many philosophies. Some would say, utilitarian. Or you say the way the world works is that whatever's the best for the most. And if 10 have to die for 1,000 to live, that's okay. And then other people would say no one should ever have to die for someone to live. People don't even want to think about these issues. I mean, these are Confucian philosophies. The idea that if you were in this, or Buddhist philosophies, so to speak, if you were in this particular situation and you had to choose between two evils, what would you do? And most people say, well, I wouldn't be in that situation, or, oh, that's ridiculous, or they say something out loud that they might choose, but the truth is, some of these are very, very deep, and people don't want to think about it, because they're like, oh, well, that's not right. I don't want to, kill 10 old people or one baby, that kind of stuff. It's stupid. It's not productive to think about that, but what it does is it opens the mind to realize that we have obligations to make the right decisions, and sometimes we have to. We don't have the choice. We don't have the luxury all the time of closing our eyes to what's going on. And I like to enjoy every moment of every day, And every time I find myself being a dick or feeling negative or depressed, I have to boost myself back up and say, okay, I got to get back in with the game. But still, I get pissed off. I get pissed off at the way people act. Like, I still think people are awakening, but I still see people every day in my day-to-day life that are just completely oblivious to anything in the world. I don't... Like I seen a guy walking across the crosswalk the other day with a book, reading a book. It's like, oh my God, like, are you don't even look on the road? Are you even aware of what's going on in the world? That there are machines around you, or are you even looking around at the trees and the environment, embracing where you're at? Kids are all on their cell phones all the time, completely texting everybody, each other every 5 seconds. Everywhere I look, there's somebody on a phone. Set down the gadgets. Set down the attitudes. Set down all the bullshit between us. And let's find common ground. Each one of us. Find a common ground with someone. Each one of you, if I could say anything, it's like, go deep into your mind and find each person that you're angry with or have an issue with at the moment, if there is anyone. Hopefully there isn't. Because if you resolve your issues, there should never be issues. But a lot of people have unresolved tensions. Find something really good about the person that you just despise, and start to understand it from their point of view. Empathize, because empathy will save us. I know a lot of people say love is the answer, but that's why I made a video a while back about what is love, because I don't believe that people really understand what love is. Oh yeah, I love my kids, I love my wife, it's good enough, No. Love is not the answer. Love is the path to the answer. See? Love is one of the paths. Love, tolerance, and acceptance, which tolerance and acceptance could go hand in hand. But love, tolerance, acceptance, and action. Integrity goes with action. Virtue goes with action. Action is what makes you who you are. It's not what you know, it's what you do and what you say. And some people speak with their actions, some people speak with their words, and their words are their actions, and everywhere in between. So I just want to see people start to get past the bullshit. There's nothing wrong with liking sports, but if you're so obsessed with sports teams, you're neglecting your own personal growth in any way. It's interfering. There's nothing wrong with liking certain drugs or having a drink or a cigarette or whatever you may have, but if it's interfering with your day-to-day life, it's time to take a look at it. And that's how the addict looks at themselves. And I had to go to some drug treatment classes when I was younger because I got busted for pot, and I found it ridiculous because I was the only one that was really able to quit, but I found that myself, I was addicted to pot. It's a mental addiction, not physical at all, but those are the things that you start to realize, okay, I have to embrace it. It's something that I have in my life and I'm aware that I'm doing. But I smoke a lot less than I used to, and it's one of the things that I've learned to control. So it's taking all the philosophies of life and putting them into action to where you're not overdoing anything and you're not limiting yourself either. Some folks completely stop eating meat because they don't believe in killing animals. I don't eat a lot of meat, but I like certain meat, if it's properly cared for and fed. Some people are strongly against milk. Some people are totally against wheat. I love bread. I eat bread every day. I bagels and muffins and all kinds of shit. There are people out there who are opposed to leather and fur. I have leather boots. I find nothing wrong with that either. It's got to be used. These are things that each person has to decide what their tolerance level is for, their threshold, okay? And these are the acceptances people put, the markers, the tolerance markers, like how much a person's going to accept as valid, as okay. Some people have a zero tolerance policy. A good example that I like to use in my own mind is the garbage can. Each person has a garbage can in their house, hopefully. Some people probably shit in the corner. But each person has a garbage can, and they throw away stuff all day long. Now, the average good person, the good American, recycles. When I was a kid, No family's recycled. Very rarely. Take it back your pop bottles to get a refund, because we lived in Oregon, you could get a 5-cent refund. But over a period of time, people became more conscious and started recycling. So now we separate our recycling. We have the recycling bins, the garbage can. How many of you have actually thrown away some recycling because it had something nasty in it? Pull out a can in the fridge, look, it has maybe a little mold or something, and you just like don't want to clean it out. Maybe an old can of dog food. I say that because I did that today. Or it was actually a can of beans, sorry. And I always recycle. And I made a zero tolerance policy for a little while, and I said, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not in my... I can't recycle every single plastic bag. Because I go camping, I go to the beach, I go places. I don't want to carry a bunch of bins in my car and recycle bags and glass and metal and all that when I'm camping. I got all kinds of crap in there. So once in a while I just make a big bag of camping stuff and I throw it away. I say, oh, usually at the center they do a lot of recycling there. They actually tear bags open and they do sort a lot of stuff. But that's not an excuse. That's a justification. And so that's why I use the garbage example, because we always throw away something every day. And I'm sure each one of you, if you recycle it, throwing away recyclables because you didn't want to clean it off. Could be something caked onto it, an old piece of plastic lid or something. Who knows? That's one of the small things. Those are tolerance levels that we're willing to accept. How much is okay? And, I guess if we take that approach to everything in life, you might be as nice as you could possibly be to people, sunshine all the time, but once in a while you get really angry, and then a person will say, well, I'm usually pretty nice, but I kind of snap sometimes. That's not a reason. That's not a justification. That's something we need to work on. But we all have different approaches. We all have different moods, and we have to remember that we'll never see through the eyes of another person. And I love you all with some kind of love that you guys probably have a different kind, but I think there is a universal love where we all feel that same strength and community, because I've grown to really love the world I live in, and I want other people to love the world they live in too, because it's the same world and we're neighbors. So peace be with you all. Namaste.